Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Governance Now, I welcome you all uh, at Digital Governance Summit. We hope you all are doing well. The COVID-19 pandemic has emphasized embracing digital governance, which prompted the public sector to accelerate the adoption of new technologies to provide efficient service delivery. The use of technology is decentralizing decision-making, bridging communities with local governments across cities and towns. The joint public-private push can make India a digital-first country, resetting the life experiences of more than a billion people with better citizen services. So today, we are going to exchange best practices, perspective, and ideas on how digital initiatives can be used to improve the state of governance, improve access to government services for the government citizen, and the challenges that are lying therein. To welcome the August gathering, I invite Shri Adhikari, MD Governance Now, Shri Adhikari with us.
Thank you so much, Pragya. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Digital Summit organized by Governance Now. As mentioned by Pragya, that technology is going to shape the future. It is technology and technology-enabled businesses that are going to define the next growth story for not only India, but also for the entire world. Automation, artificial intelligence are fundamentally now reshaping organization and contributing to growth while enhancing productivity as well. Not only are these technologies transforming the workplace itself, but also the nature of the work. The advancement in digital technologies hold considerable potential to lift the trajectory of productivity and economic growth, and to create new and better jobs and to replace the old ones. As much as 2/3 of potential productivity growth in major economies over the next decade could only be related to new digital technologies, and hence the focus of today's Governance Now's forum on Digital Governance Virtual Summit. With that, I welcome you all for today's session, and we hope to look forward to such meaningful discussions in the future as well.
Thank you, Mr. Adhikari. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have keynote address by Shri Amitabh, Kant, CEO, NITI, Aayog. Government policy think tank NITI Aayog has been engaging into research, policy, and implementation for modernizing vital IT infrastructure and to support and build a strong ecosystem. Now we have insights from Shri Amitabh Kant, CEO, NITI Aayog.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be addressing you here at the launch of the Digital Governance Summit. The COVID-19 pandemic has been unprecedented in every sense of the word. It is truly a very challenging period for the country, and we are working around the clock to meet the unsurmountable challenges that have been brought upon us. Over the course of the pandemic, as we attempted to address these challenges, there are a few things which became very clear. The effective adoption of technologies and innovations is central to creating efficient systems of service delivery. The adoption of such technologies can have profound social and economic benefits, provided the limitations are adequately acknowledged and addressed. India's digital infrastructure is going to play a very important role in building the country's resilience. We have already done a lot on the groundwork, but there's still a lot more work to be done. To achieve the necessary impact and to build informative and transformative digital initiatives, there are two main ingredients: innovation and scale. The private sector has a very rapid innovation cycle and greater creative bandwidth as compared to the public sector. Whereas traditionally the strength of the public sector has been its ability to scale initiatives across the country. Combining the strengths of the private sector and the public sector, we are pioneering what we call the technology commons approach. This allows us to leverage the rapid pace of innovation of the private sector and the government's ability to quickly scale. The products developed under this approach have an open architecture, modular design, and are portable to the hosting environment. Transparency and security are at the heart of all the technology common initiatives. Last year, the Prime Minister had mandated to explore the role of technology and digital transformation in addressing key challenges brought on by the pandemic. Accordingly, solutions were identified and pilots were implemented. Various initiatives were undertaken with the participation of top technology leaders. The world-class pilots which emerged out of this exercise are Unnati, SWAS, Unified Logistic Interface Platform, Krishi Neev, Samshiksha, Kashi, KYC Setu. These would be scaled nationally through SPV. This year, we have further built on that experience and launched the COVID platform to help donors track what they are donating. The COVID-19 pandemic has in many ways catalyzed adoption of new technologies and platforms across the board. However, our digital strategy has been systematic and has taken some time to grow and blossom. Technology is a great enabler, and its strategic adoption is key to unlocking India's true potential and improving service delivery. Ever since the launch of the Digital India platform and program in 2015, we have been able to strategically roll out programs to facilitate the adoption of technology across the government. The success of these initiatives has created the foundation for an integrated approach to tech adoption through initiatives such as the India Stack. The India Stack, the Aadhaar's identification system, has been the largest efforts of its kind in the world and has won global praise. Almost every person in India now has their own digital authentication, Aadhaar identification number. The linkage of Aadhaar with bank accounts and mobile phones, also known as the Jam Trinity, is the bedrock of much of the digitization drive under the Digital India movement. Aadhaar has become an important means of verifying identity and simplifying financial inclusion. As on date, there are about 1.293 billion Aadhaar accounts facilitating 54.45 billion authentications across the board. The direct benefit transfers that JAM has enabled has become a new mechanism for the delivery of public goods. DBT has been a lifeline for service delivery, more so during the COVID-19 pandemic, serving as a critical tool bringing development programs to more than 900 million people. Since its inception, the scheme has transferred a cumulative of rupees 15.18 lakh crore for transactions covering 319 schemes and 54 ministries. This led to cumulative savings to the tune of rupees 1.78 lakh crores through the deletion of duplicate, fake, and non-existent beneficiaries. UPI, or the Unified Payment Interface Platform, has also witnessed huge growth over a relatively short period of time. The UPI infrastructure is just 4-year-old and has transformed the digital payment landscape. It has exceeded more than double the number of transactions as compared to that of American Express globally. The digitization of goods and services tax is a key landmark in terms of India's digital economy. The GST network digital platform captures information such as sales, purchase, and the tax returns filed, ensuring complete transparency in the system. GST simplified the tax regime, doing away with 17 taxes and cesses and helped reduce the queues at the state boundaries, streamlining interstate logistics. Then we have Ayushman Bharat, the PMJAY scheme, which ensures 500 million Indians, which is totally paperless, cashless, and is digital. A person can be living in Bihar, moving to Tamil Nadu, can carry his health insurance scheme with him. And this is the largest digital health insurance scheme anywhere in the world. And finally, we have the government e-marketplace, another critical initiative of the government, the GEM portal, which has successfully been able to leverage technology to completely transform the public procurement landscape. In the context of the pandemic, the platform which has been the central focus is COVID. As vaccination drives are rolled out, this platform has helped streamline the process of getting vaccinated and subsequently to maintain the digital records pertaining to the same. The National Digital Health Mission is going to play a central role in helping us navigate the future complexities of innovation in healthcare while safeguarding privacy and security of citizens. This will contribute to an India which is going to be more prepared for future pandemics. Our digital tools and platforms and the partnerships that we forge are going to be central in bridging the gap between people and the government. We are possibly in the midst of what may be the most challenging of times that this generation has ever faced. But together we will overcome this. Together we'll come out of this and build a resilient and inclusive future. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Principal Secretary IT, Electronics and Communication Department, Government of Telangana, for moderating the fireside chat. I invite Shri Adhikari, Managing Director, Governance Now, and Shri Himanshu Singh, Head of Solution Engineering, Public Freshworks.
Thank you so much, Pragya. Good morning, Shri Jayesh, Ranjan ji. Good morning, Himanshu. Good morning, Karthik. We welcome Shri Jayesh, Ranjan ji to our fireside chat. Sir, as we all know that we are battling a pandemic since a year, and technology has really helped us in overcoming all the challenges that we face. If we focus on the current situation that we are going through, naturally, it's quite unprecedented. I'd like to begin by asking you that what were your state government's 3 immediate top priorities to manage the surge, sir? Has his screen...
Yeah, seems like it.
Most important requirement at this point in time is the second wave. As all of us know, the spread is quite fast, and the spread is happening in all parts of the country, all parts of the state. There is no town, there is no city, there is no village which can claim that they have been completely unaffected. So obviously the most important requirement is to ensure that the health infrastructure is better prepared. We have enough number of beds, and as we know, the variant that is spreading these days for the last 3 months or so, that causes severe damage to the lungs, and therefore certain essential supplies like oxygen, remdesivir, and other medicines, these are available to every person, every patient. So the first big challenge has been to ensure that there is proper infrastructure, and the infrastructure is made available to patients. The second very important requirement that we have focused on is that there are no information gaps. We have read about horror stories of patients and their attendants running helter-skelter to find a bed, to find oxygen, to find supplies. Of course, we also faced some challenges in early days. I won't claim that everything was rosy in Telangana. That will be a real exaggeration. But within a matter of a week or so, we were able to come to grips with the situation. Now our ability to inform people and ensure that there is very systematic approach in delivering all these essentials, that has improved quite substantially. So the second important priority has been to ensure that this information gap has been minimized to the extent possible. Our state is one of the states which has gone for this lockdown very, very recently only. I mean, we did not consider lockdown to be a worthwhile strategy in the early days, but about a week ago, we have also introduced lockdown. So the third important priority, of course, is to ensure that the lockdown is implemented well. But at the same time, the genuine requirements of livelihoods, those are also not very greatly or adversely impacted. So these 3 priorities: one is to ensure the infrastructure is available, second, the information gaps are minimized, and third, the lockdowns balance between, as they say, life and livelihoods. These 3 are maintained. So these, in my opinion, are the important priorities for us.
Absolutely, sir. Himanshu?
Thank you, Kailash. Good morning, Jayesh sir. So I want to ask you, since the state and center interaction during this pandemic has been quite critical, how did you effectively manage your communications, and what role did technology play in these communications?
So one very important aspect on which we have to liaise very, very closely with center is oxygen requirement. See, in our state, the oxygen production is not sufficient to take care of the requirements of all the hospitals. And therefore, we are dependent upon the national government to get oxygen allotted to us from other destinations. And obviously, the demands of those states and demand of competing states are all also there. So it's a very dynamic kind of a situation. But so far, we have been able to ensure that whatever allotments are given by the government of India, we are able to understand it, prepare the infrastructure to get that. In fact, Telangana was the state where it all started. See, today we see so many examples of Air Force transport carriers going and bringing oxygen cylinders, etc. It was first started by us in Telangana, and subsequently when it was found to be useful, it was done everywhere. So these kind of communication using different kinds of technology. There is, of course, a very useful WhatsApp group which tells in a very dynamic way, in a very real-time way, where are our tankers. We have also used GPS to track the movement of the tankers. We know, actually, we also faced this, that in the early days, because the driver was new of one of the tankers, instead of delivering the tanker to the right hospital, he delivered it somewhere else. And there was at least 30 minutes of very, very anxious period when we were not sure whether whether we'll have to shift the patients from outside that particular hospital. So different kinds of technology, basically tracking technologies using GPS and faster means of communication. We are using these to effectively manage our oxygen requirements.
Thank you, Jayesh sir. So my next question is, is there any innovation adoption of technology during this period, such as creating an app or using chatbots?
Yeah, so as we all know, this pandemic is going on for the past 1 year. So lots of technology innovations which we had introduced last year, that is in 2020, they remain with us. For example, we had created a chatbot which continues to serve us. Of course, when the COVID was in decline, we had kind of disabled it. But now that the second wave is fully in our face, we have enabled it again. Another very useful innovation has been a fact check portal. In fact, as all of us know, lots of rumors float in these periods. And unless you effectively counter them at the earliest, they become viral and thereafter there is no control. So we have a very strong fact checking mechanism, which also gives lots of confidence to the public about what is authentic and what is not. Similarly, we have a dashboard. Of course, we used it much more productively in the last phase, the first wave, as they say. This year, because the wave is so widespread, different technology-enabled dashboard also. So some of these innovations have been serving our interests quite well.
Great, thank you, sir. And what has been your biggest learning from this experience so far? Things where you think that we could have done better, or where we can improve, and what went well as well?
So one, of course, is a message that don't let your guard down. This is a national message, not just for Telangana, but we have also taken this lesson quite well. And we know that certain countries and certain other parts of our own country, where the ability to prepare ourselves for this second wave was better, they have scored also better. Bombay is a very classic example. But at the same time, despite the fact that all other states and everyone else in a literal way was caught napping, one good thing which has happened is that we have been able to foster useful partnerships. As I was listening to Mr. Amitabh Kant when he was speaking, and he also mentioned the fact that the best of public sector, the best of private sector, the best of NGOs, the best of startups, academic institutions, all of these have to come together to really deliver solutions at this critical time. And I feel proud that in Telangana, we have been able to achieve that partnership. So that partnership model is something which has been a great lesson for us. And hopefully this is how all our future endeavors will be shaped by.
That's great to hear, sir. And did you face any challenges in the last mile delivery, such as delivering vaccines, testing kits, and did technology help in resolving any of these challenges?
Yeah, of course. So vaccine rollout has not yet happened. So I can't say about vaccine. But we have done something which, again, I was reading in the papers that news came today. This has become a national model after it was introduced in Telangana, which is a door-to-door fever survey. See, the strategy which we follow in Telangana is that you don't wait for the positive result to come, patients start showing symptoms, and then only the treatment to start. Our experience has shown that delay in treatment actually is leading to fatalities. So what we have done is that every household in the state, there are close to 8.5 million households. Every household has been surveyed. And if there is even a slightest symptom of fever, etc., we have started the kind of a treatment protocol. And obviously to monitor the survey in every household, to ensure that medicine kits are made available, to ensure they are monitored and followed up. Lots of technologies have been used. And this is one area which I feel we have done well to contain the numbers in our state. And obviously, this has, as I said, become a national role model also.
Thank you for sharing that, sir. And thank you a lot for joining this session. I know you have another meeting to go to. Really appreciate you spending time with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jayesh. Thank you.
Thank you, Kailash. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Himanshu.
Thank you, Jayesh. Thank you so much for joining us today. And ladies and gentlemen, this was a great insight from Telangana, being leader in technology, and so many lessons to learn from the state. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I request Shri Himanshu Singh, Head of Solutions Engineering and Public Freshworks, to share his technology address. Over to Himanshu.
Thank you, Pragya. I'll just share my screen.
Yeah, you can.
I think it's blocked. Can you just give me access?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. So in this session, I'll talk about what Freshworks is and how do we fit into the public sector and what we've done for the public sector engagement. So as introduced, I had solution engineering and public sector growth for Freshworks. So just introducing Freshworks, we are a made in India, a company, India at heart, founded in Chennai in 2010. And since 11 years, we've been creating software for CRM, for help desk, for ITSM space. Now we are one of the fastest growing software as a service companies in the world, proudly Indian. And then obviously we have $300 million plus ARR. We have growth of over 40% per year. Across the globe, we have 3,500 plus employees, out of which 3,000 employees are in India. And Forbes has ranked us as a top 20 cloud software companies in the world. We have 50,000 plus paid customer base and over 2 lakh customers who use our software globally. In India, with the public sector, some of our renowned customers are Air India, Govt of Telangana, Government of Karnataka, Election Commission of India, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Government e-Marketplace, NHS, and UNICEF. And we touch your daily lives, right? So if you go to Swiggy, or there's a help case or a chat support. If you go to Hotstar and you had some problem, if you go to Lenskart and you add something to the cart, and even if you reach out to them for support or credit or delivery, right? So the support on all these platforms is via our software, and some of them also use our sales platforms such as Lenskart, right? So we do touch your daily lives already if you use one of these brands. I want to also start with highlighting what we've done during the COVID. So if you've heard of the Step 1 project, which is live across 13 states, the states are listed on the bottom of the screen. So we started last year in March, where we started deploying a COVID helpline for Karnataka and Orissa, and then it expanded across 13 states. So if you call, for example, helpline in Delhi, the COVID helpline, we have around 10,000 doctors on the platform, and we've created a way for them to manage incoming cases on the mobile. And this has really helped all these states manage COVID surge with ease. We deliver services like a COVID helpline. We also support the positive triage. We also support home isolation monitoring, and we've recently started vaccination management as well. So the COVID helpline across all these states, and there are additional 9 cities where we have deployed the solution. So the COVID helpline is fully managed on Freshworks platform. So what is Freshworks really? What is Freshdesk as a part of the product? So Freshdesk is really a product which unifies channels across multiple engagement platforms. For example, a phone or an email or a chat or a WhatsApp, right? So basically, your citizens can try to reach out to you via multiple methods, and the traditional way of portal is also obviously supported. But millennials are actually now getting accustomed to using WhatsApp, for example, right, or Facebook Messenger to also spread news. And obviously, one more agenda of a lot of governments are now to monitor what's going on social. So we also support social interaction with citizens. So, for example, if I'm a citizen, I want to interact with my government, I can just go to social media, like let's say Twitter, and tag the government, and then that social media post can be brought in by Freshworks. And obviously, we support all the other channels like phone and WhatsApp and all those mechanisms as well. We have a very heavily invested AI to help you route these cases. For example, I just spoke about the COVID helpline case, and we triage cases using AI capabilities based on where the call is coming from, what language does the customer or the citizen want to talk to, what is the case type, right? And we use tons of those technologies to route the case to the appropriate team. And you may have different teams in your office or your department. Each person may handle different type of cases or grievances or queries. So we can actively automatically route these things to the relevant person. We also support something which we call a customer 360 view. So what happens is if you open a citizen's dashboard, then you'll see what all citizen has reached out to you for. You can see other things as well. You can see details about the citizen, where does he live, what is his phone number, contact channels, what has he been doing or she been doing recently. So you can actually create a dashboard per citizen and track active monitoring, problems that he's or she has raised, and also what all services does the citizen use, right? So those kind of things we support. So basically, Freshdesk can be used for creating a portal, a grievance management system, a social media monitoring system, everything combined into one space. Plus, we also have chatbots. So Jayesh just spoke about the chatbots that were used in Telangana in the T-COVID app for COVID monitoring that was built by us. Similarly, we can build a lot of other bots based on your requirements. Now, so one of the things that every government is trying to do is deploy e-services for modern citizens, and the focus is to deploy with ease and rapid pace, right? So that's what we excel in. What are the benefits of this is one is obviously 24/7 support for citizens. They can go to a portal, interact with a bot in case it's beyond working hours. One software for all conversations across, phone, email, chat, WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, any medium that the citizen may want to reach out to you. We have combined all those channels into one software, and your departments can have a single interface to interact with the citizen wherever the person reach out from. And obviously, I spoke about AI automation, which helps to not only route things better, but also the chatbots resolve queries of citizens immediately. Example, which I just quoted about the pre-COVID app. We can also deploy it in multiple other cases. For example, we were building a farmer chatbot for one of the departments, and it resolved farmer queries immediately on WhatsApp, and supported native languages like Hindi and English as well. So all those use cases can be deployed to give faster services to citizens. Another thing that we've done recently is help a lot of governments and departments and other agencies to set up their grievance management system and portal with a combination of not just a portal, but also a live chat interaction channel. So what this helps is to reduce the incoming volume if you have a call center, and you can answer queries at your own pace. And this can also be integrated with things like WhatsApp or a mobile app that you have deployed as well. We can also support multi-location help desk. So what it means is that now governments are also employing contractors and also people who work remotely, especially in, let's say Northeast. I've seen a lot of cases where people are working remotely from various locations, which are very far off from the real office, right? So the staff that supports these things can be based anywhere. It's not necessary to come to the office. Only thing required is a internet connection. Could be a 3G, 4G connection as well. And your employees can work and support citizens from anywhere in the world. And one more thing that has been missing in a lot of cases is where we worked is that internal collaboration is a problem. You have to send emails or have to walk to the person's desk to get things resolved. But Our system also supports internal collaboration. So basically, if a citizen has reached out for some problem and one government department picks up, but they want information or action from another government department, then they can use internal collaboration services like chat or assignment or site collaboration, where all these information can be brought in within the same ticket and collaboration happens within the same system as well. One thing that we've really done well for a lot of let's say PWDs and similar departments is we can facilitate on-site visits with GPS tagging. So, example, if a citizen says, I have waste burning happening here, and they tag it on your app, we can create a field service ticket where the relevant department can go and clear that, let's say, waste burning or anything like that. And this has safety quality checks with the field staff. They can upload a picture of their work and all those things as well. And this can also be used for document verification. During COVID in Karnataka, we used it for helping citizens, especially older citizens, to get meals. We also use the service for delivering ambulance services and all those things. This is a very valid and interesting service that you may be interested in. And obviously, I spoke about live chat. So, so whoever is educated, you can read any of the local languages. Let's say you're in Telangana, you can speak Telugu, or if you're North India, Hindi. Then we can use these services to interact with the citizen, and this channel avoids a lot of incoming calls. So a lot of government departments have been relying on this, and plus bots can also be deployed here to resolve L1 queries as well. Another thing that a lot of government organizations are now doing is sending updates and notifications directly on WhatsApp. So earlier, mostly the SMS channel was being preferred, but WhatsApp is a more convenient and a cost-effective mechanism to send communication, and larger communications can be sent, including media files and all those things. So we help departments to set up this as well, where you can not only send proactive communications with details of anything that the citizen wants to know, but also continue that interaction on the same channel, so that if a customer or the citizen has a query, you can interact with them on the same channel as well. And I spoke about the social media interactions. So a lot of governments, are using this now, where they are monitoring social media and also helping citizens on social media. Ministry of External Affairs is very popular in doing this, but I think it's spreading across India. And this is something which we help us also. So if a citizen goes to, let's say, Twitter and tweets about not getting help on COVID, then we can bring it in the COVID helpline and route it to the appropriate team automatically, so that this can be resolved on time. And this is something we co-build with ICMR, where we build the self-assessment bot. This is deployed across various states, including Telangana. It's deployed in UP, in King George Medical College, and tons of other places. So similar chatbots can also be deployed for you. And in terms of ROI, one of the highest ROI generating softwares in the grievance management portal side or support side is Freshworks, and it's rated by foresters of the world to gardeners of the world in delivering the highest ROI. So what we promise is we are really quick to value. So Amitabh sir spoke about the COVID portal. We deployed that portal in 5 days flat, from thinking of what to do to actually getting it live. It only took 5 days, right? And we deployed that in straight 5 days. We can scale with you. So step one I spoke about, it has now 10,000 doctors. We use 7,500 API calls per minute. And wherever you start from, if you're worried about scale, this software will scale with you. And the data center and all those things are in India, so you don't have to worry about security. And think of us as a partner, not a vendor. We have this slogan called "Customer for Life" that applies to us also. And we have very transparent pricing and support at every step. We have in-house support, in-house implementation, so you don't have to rely on other vendors for implementing this software. So this is what Jayesh was talking about. Also, I'll just end my presentation with this slide. So when Jayesh's teams in Telangana reached out to us to build a bot for self-screening, we deployed it in 3 days flat. And obviously during the surge, it really helped them. And this was disabled because of COVID flattening, but now we've re-enabled it. So such things can be deployed for your department, your state. A lot of organizations are reaching out for deploying it for their own employees also, so that we can manage whether employees should come or not, and do a self-screening every day before coming to the office. So there are multiple use cases we can apply on the bot side on COVID and other cases as well. So with that, I'll thank you for attending this event. Over to you, Pragya.
Thank you, Himanshu. Indeed, a wonderful presentation and great insights about how technology is going to help in better service delivery and faster service delivery. And ladies and gentlemen, now we have a few polls, and we would like to understand how you are responding to various service delivery and grievances in your states. So, my first poll is, how fast is your response to public grievances via your current help desk systems? We'll be running it for a few seconds, and then we'll see what people say. Another few seconds. So we're just closing the poll and requesting all if you can just share your views. Closing poll here. Okay. Interesting. So 30% people says that their response to public grievances through the current help desk system, 30% less than 24 hours. And 41%, the majority says it takes 1 to 7 days, and 30% says more than 7 years, which is quite a mix. So, Himanshu, would you like to highlight something like how they can increase their response to this public grievances? I think which is what matters really to people, and for better governance and citizen service delivery, this really matters. So if you can just share some light.
Yeah, I think the important thing is to select the right let's say a software to monitor these grievances effectively, and also to have a two-way communication with the customer, right, or the citizen. So if they reach out to you, you should have a method to interact with them also. A lot of times I see that the cases are pending because there is no interaction with the citizen, and the queries are not clear. So if you have a system which can effectively, let's say, create a ticket and assign it to the relevant person automatically, right? Let's say it's a finance use case, right, or a tax use case, it can go to the relevant person. And then there should be a communication method where the person can also interact with them.
Definitely. And then this is my favorite poll. Do you use WhatsApp to engage with your citizens and your audience? Waiting for some answers here. So do you use WhatsApp to engage with your citizens? Let's see how many governments, how many states or central government departments they use WhatsApp to engage with their citizens. Let's end the poll and see the results. Okay. So 74% of the audience says that they use WhatsApp to engage with their citizens, and still 26% are not using WhatsApp to communicate with citizens. So, Himanshu, how do you think? What do you think? How important WhatsApp has become to engage with citizens? We are seeing that a lot more people would like to engage with citizens, or we would like to engage with businesses and service centers through WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So how
So,
do we do
so
about
Pragya, I think in your daily life, right? Let's say I have a LG air conditioner and I want to interact with LG. I used to earlier call them and spend 15 minutes talking to the agent, giving details. And then I would get in the service, right? Now it's a 1-minute job where I just ping that number and their bot automatically creates a ticket for them. So I think the citizens are getting used to such services in the private sector, and they're expecting same kind of services, especially millennials, right? They want a similar kind of interaction for public sector as well. A lot of public sector agencies are open, but some are also not open, depending on the security criteria and all those things. But I think non-confidential data can be shared over WhatsApp, and this could be a mechanism for easy reach out to citizens, to and fro communication as well, right? So businesses, agencies can create a business number on which all the interactions can come. And then software like Freshworks can create interaction channels for them where each of the relevant person can interact from a particular software, and the message goes to WhatsApp. So I think non-confidential data and all those things can be easily shared on WhatsApp.
Okay, interesting. So while Siddharth sir is joining us, if you would want to add few things about security that you mentioned, that share non-sensitive data on WhatsApp. So if you can just highlight, the most important concern these days when we talk about technology is security and going for PPPs. So how do you address that concern of governments?
Yes, I think there was a earlier thought process that cloud is not secure, but I think we along with AWS have proven it otherwise. Ajay is here, and I think he'll talk more about cloud security. But as you saw, a lot of government departments are using us already, plus top consulting customers, banking customers. I'll give you some examples: PhonePe, Paytm. Everybody is using cloud services, and including from us and AWS, right? So we are on AWS's data center in Mumbai, which is a tier 4 data center. It has all the cloud security protocols embedded, and no information from one instance is, let's say, shared with another instance. So that is there, and then each communication with the citizen is encrypted, so nobody else can have access to it. And we've proven it across all these customers that are using us, including top customers like Govt Marketplace, who uses for any internal escalations, or Air India uses us for citizen chat, or Election Commission of India, who uses us during the election. So I think security is something which we can discuss in detail. But I'll like to give a message that cloud is secure now, as long as the data center and all these things are in India. It's just about so things like WhatsApp, sometimes they don't have an India data center. So some organizations are concerned about that, but all the messages are encrypted. So frankly, there is, in my opinion, there isn't much to fear. And all these top companies have invested a lot of money in keeping data secure. So I think we should have no restrictions or hesitations to adopt these services. I think Siddharth is here, so I think we can switch over to a session.
He's just connecting to the audio. And like you have mentioned, in fact, many banks, like one of the audience that mentioned, that they are using WhatsApp platform for sharing customer information, though it's customer specific. So now, ladies and gentlemen, for the next fireside chat, we have Shri Siddharth Singh, Commissioner and Secretary IT, Department of Information Technology, Government of Assam. To moderate this fireside chat, I request Shri Gailashnath Adhikari, Managing Director Governance Now, and Shri Himanshu Singh, Head of Solution Engineering, Public Freshworks.
Thank you so much, Pragya, and we welcome Shri Siddharth Singh ji, and welcome back Himanshu. for this fireside chat. Siddharth Singh, Commissioner and Secretary IT, Department of Information Technology, Government of Assam. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. As we are dealing with the topic of digital inclusion, as well as how can digitization and technology enabled solutions help in such severe cases as we are facing since the past 1 year globally, not just nationally, but globally. And Mr. Singh, as you come with a great experience with water and sanitation, what are the key governance challenges that you have faced, peculiarly in the last 1 year owing to the pandemic? Sir, you're on mute.
So, see, the last 1 year, all of us know, has been very difficult. And it has been a very, very challenging task in terms of the logistical part of it, in terms of the overall arrangement and the sheer scale of the things that has to be done. Now, if we were to talk about the entire sector, so all logistics, because at one part of time, I was also looking after when the lockdown was imposed, the first intensive lockdown was imposed, I was also tasked with maintenance of the supply chain. So it was a humongous task, ensuring that every single person, the last household, gets its rations, all the necessary stuff for houses available. It was a challenge. So you had to speak to multiple stakeholders, Indian Railways, the Airports Authority, the local chambers of commerce, everyone, the truck association, everyone. So the entire chain is ensured. So it was a major challenge, but it could be done. And a lot of IT interventions were made. So you all are aware, in most of the states that was done, and Assam also, we issued the digital passes. So initially the passes which were issued were all manual in nature, which caused a lot of delay, a lot of confusion. So we switched over to a system of digital pass issuance system for essential services and movement of goods and persons. So that was an initiative that we took, and it made life much very easy for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Himanshu?
Thank you, Kalashnath. Hi, Siddharth. Siddharth, so can you share with this gathering some of the key e-governance innovations and initiatives in the water and sanitization sector in the state of Assam? And what role do you believe technology plays in addressing these challenges, especially during a pandemic, for example?
So, as you mentioned, I come from a public health engineering background. That is the department that I have been looking after for quite some time. I was associated with the implementation of Swachh Bharat mission, as well as drinking water mission, which is now called the Jal Jeevan mission. And these are huge challenges in the sense that when Swachh Bharat mission started in Assam, the sanitation coverage was only 34%. Since independence, we had covered 34%. In the next 4 years, we had to cover the remaining 56%. So it was a huge challenge that we had to, but we were able to do it. And it was done with a lot of transparency. Here again, a lot of digital governance kicked in the sense that all the toilets which were made were all geotagged. So you can drill down to the last man who has got a toilet, and it is on a public domain. Anyone can go and see it, check it on our website, and every household, every toilet is geotagged. You'll get the name of the person, his village, his ID number, his geotagged toilet photograph, everything is there. So apart from that, we did a lot of innovations which last 1 year, especially sort of started this process. So we have created a centralized monitoring system for the department. Now, we call this as the smart monitoring and reporting tool. So smart monitoring and reporting tool, which the acronym is SMART. Now here we have a lot of tools which are going. So one is the scheme monitoring tool. So just a second. So scheme monitoring system is there. So we have thousands of drinking water scheme. Now drinking water is very essential. All of them all of you know, drinking water is very essential. And last 1 year, we had to ensure that this movement of Jal Jeevan Mission does not stop, because we have to provide 63 lakh households with drinking water facilities in a period of only 4 years. It's a humongous challenge, which means almost 16 lakh households per year, which is translates to more than 1 lakh per month, and more than almost 5,000 per day. So so we ensured by having a smart monitoring tool, every single scheme, every single household is tagged there. The bills are generated online, all the estimates and plans are generated online, the payment is made online, the entire payment has been put on a PFMS platform, so that every single rupee spent can be traced by even Government of India, and all of us can trace every single money we spend. Apart from that, we created we call our ground level warriors as Swachhagrahi. So Swachhagrahi tool was created wherein all the activities that they are doing can be entered, it can be monitored. Similarly, we have implementation support agencies, which are basically tools to create awareness among the rural folks. So that once again, their activities are tracked, their payments are made, all the activities that they are doing can be tracked in that portal. Apart from that, we had a third party delivery of all the pipes and all the inputs that comes. We have to ensure that all the pipes that are used conform to a certain standard that the Government of India has laid down. So all the pipe inspecting agencies like CIPET, like PDIL, RIGHTS, etc., they have been brought on a digital platform. So every pipe that we use for our schemes can be traced and tracked and told that it comes from X lot of X factory and it has got the ISI and BIS markings that are required. So once again, that has been put on a digital. Otherwise, if you see, had we to do it on a non-digital platform, it's almost impossible to do it on a manual platform. The amount of, you have tons and tons and thousands of, in fact, lakhs of pipes coming, it cannot be tracked without a digital tool. We created a grievance redressal mechanism, which is once again an online with an escalation matrix, so that everything that we every grievance that a citizen has can be brought to us in no time, in real time basis. Similarly, if we see, we created a training information management system so that every training being given from the village level to the state level can be tracked. Now, you all are aware of the tremendous power that social media today has. To create awareness in sanitation as well as water field, we have made extensive use of these social media platforms, and we have a lot of followers in all our official websites. We keep on having different kinds of competitions, contests, engagements for the public, and we take their feedback. So all in all, it has been a digital as well as corresponding physical journey for us in the last 1 year. It's been great and challenging.
Thank you, Siddharth. So that was very insightful. And I'm sure a lot of people can learn a lot of things from that conversation. So my next question is, as more migration happens from rural to urban areas, what potential do you see for digital tools in harnessing public participation in urban water governance?
So, Himanshu, it's a good question. Basically, see, digital is the way forward, is what I feel. Even a lot of see, one of the thoughts which we were toying with, and probably we'll take it forward at some point of time, is even the oxygen management, etc., can be put on a blockchain kind of a model, so that we have more clear sense of what is the availability, what are the requirements. So that's more in the conceptual stage. But as far as your question about this water thing is concerned, now, one of the major issues which comes with water is it's a huge thing. So if you have to provide it to every household, you'd also have to ensure that the quality is there. So if the water that comes to your house has to conform to a certain standard. So a lot of IoT gauges would be required. A lot of IoT sensors would be required, which throws up data at different points and says that the water quality conforms to these standards that has been laid down. Similarly, your billing part. Now, billing part, manual billing, just like we had in electricity at some point of time. Everyone had a manual meter. Initially, there were no meters. Then you had manual meters. Then there were allegations of tampering or meters going bad. And now, more or less everywhere, you have switched to a system where there is automatic metering. No one comes to your house. The bill is generated and you can see it online. So similarly, something along those lines is required. So you'll require smart meters with the data being thrown on a proactive basis and bills being generated. So a lot of work is required on that front. I think these are two things where, apart from that, a lot of digital modeling is required. Digital modeling, because see, if you see the water sector, there is an entire chain. So you have to keep track of all your rivers, and Assam being plentiful in river, we are sort of blessed. Many states do not have. So you have to have a depository of all your resources, the drinking water flowing, which is in rivers or streams, and also the groundwater. So you'll require different kinds of sensors. Now you'll also have a lot of prediction models, which we are working in one of the projects that is supported under World Bank. We are working on a 5-day rainfall forecast model that has been developed. Now it takes into account a lot of data that is coming from different sources and it predicts rainfall. Now, once we have that, we are able to understand the river behavior in the next 5-7 days and over a long period of time. Accordingly, we design structures for the drinking water as well as the flooding part of it. So it has a lot of ramifications on that. That is more sophisticated modeling. But as far as the layman is concerned, I think the IoT sensors and the meters are one of the major ingredients as far as the water sector is concerned.
Great. Thank you so much, Siddharth, sir. Mr. Kalashnath, over to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Himanshu. And thank you so much, Siddharth sir, for joining us this morning on a very important topic of digital governance. As we all know, the importance of digital going forward and technology going forward in all aspects of governance, not just one particular area, but there are various aspects, as you rightly mentioned out. And we are here to learn about the various initiatives that were taken by the state through which the entire services to the citizens were made seamless with the help of technology in spite of a pandemic hitting us. Thank you so much, Siddharth sir, for joining us. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for inviting me. I hope these kind of intellectual engagements continue and we see the application on ground, which helps and makes the life of people better. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over to you, Pragya. Are you able to hear us, Pragya?
So meanwhile, Pragya is joining. We are about to start our panel discussion, which is on faster e-service for modern citizens.
Sure. We welcome. Yeah, Pragya is here.
Okay, so sorry, I think there was some network glitch. So ladies and gentlemen, now we have a panel discussion on faster e-service for modern citizens. To For the session, we have Dr. B. Sundar, Special Secretary, IT, Information Technology, Electronics and Communication Department, Government of Andhra Pradesh. We have Shri G.T. Venkateshwar Rao, Managing Director, Telangana Technology Services. Shri Cherubal, Chief Executive Officer, Chennai Smart Cities Limited. Shri G. Raju, Deputy Inspector General of Police, Police Computer Services and Standardization, Andhra Pradesh. Shri Santulan Chaubey, Joint Director, IT, Department of IT, Government of Delhi. Shri Aayog, Head State and Local Government, India, Amazon Internet Services Private Limited. And to moderate the session, we have Shri Karthik Rajaram, Senior Director and Country Head, India Business Freshworks. Over to you, Karthik. And meanwhile, everybody switching off their camera. And Dr. B. Sundar shall be joining us shortly.
Thank you, Pragya. Thanks for the introduction. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Wonderful. Thank you. So a very good morning and a very warm welcome to one and all and to our esteemed panelists. I hope you're all doing well. I'm Karthik and I am the country head for Freshworks in India. And the topic that we're going to be discussing today is extremely relevant, especially in the context of the current environment, right? Which is putting technology at the heart of public sector delivery. Like I said, we have an extremely esteemed panel today. These are the people who are at the forefront envisioning and driving some of these transformative radical initiatives for the digital empowerment of citizens in our country, right? So specifically, we all understand that one of the key goals of governments, both state and central, is the digital empowerment of citizens. And one true measure of digitization is the seamless delivery of services to citizens, right? And in that regard, there are a plethora of strategic initiatives that the government has undertaken, right from Skills India to Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana to National Optic Fiber Network to DigiLocker to smart cities, etc., right? So I'm going to use the next 45 minutes to discuss and pick the brains of this esteemed panel. And I'm going to start off with Mr. Shri Santulan Chaubey ji. Welcome to the panel, Shri Santulan ji. I think Delhi is one example where we're seeing a lot of transformative work being undertaken, specifically the doorstep delivery services of government services, including essential services like driving license, new water connection, marriage certificates, etc., and also the very ambitious ESLA e-governance initiative, right? And we are very sure and we understand that technology plays a critical role in ensuring that this project is a success. So I want to hear your thoughts on the experience and the journey that you have seen specifically in this regard.
Very good morning.
Good morning.
Very good morning, and I thank you very much for e-governance now to invite me here and share my views on that. Thank you very much. I will start with the Delhi government's initiatives on digital services, which we are providing to all our citizens, and specifically for this COVID COVID time, basically. Lots of government services are given online. We had started long back digitizing our own services, and we have started this long in 90s itself. But lots of channels we have added. Channels means earlier it was simply online. People have to apply. Now in this regime, we have started doorstep delivery. Online, it is very good word and people use it, but ultimately there are many people, and during this time it is not possible for people to even apply online. So we have started a call center at state call center. We have prepared 1031, where a public, anybody can call and ask for a service. For doorstep delivery, we have around 100 services right now, which a citizen can avail. He or she can give a call to 1031, ask for a service, and the person help there that what kind of documents are required, how to apply, where to go. Then they ask for time, that at what time you are available, citizen is available basically. And you keep all the documents ready with you, and one gentleman will go there and do the processing, and it will start. I think Raju Sahib is saying something. Your voice is not coming. Your mic is there.
Sir, nothing, sir. I am listening. I was talking.
Okay. So that process is like this. After the form is filled at the place of citizen itself, all the documents are properly posted. This entire information, our backend is e-district. So we are having around 500 services on e-district. Out of that, 100 are on our doorstep delivery. So entire application is put on e-district platform where it is processed and the output, the certificate, license is given to the citizen, and that too, if that is physical. Most of them nowadays are basically digitally signed. But for the physical, if there is any physical certificate like my certificate, there is a very good card sheet which is given to them. So that delivery is done by the doorstep delivery person, and then this service is considered okay. End-to-end service is there. If there is a physical delivery, somebody will go and deliver it. Now next extent is delivering ration. This is next what we are just in the process, and it is just in between some process going on. But technically it is very much possible that supply chain management is there, where ration is packed in a nice package and given to the person who belong to that. So these things are going on. But one thing I tell you, this everything what we are doing, they're just channel. Person can go online, they can go physical also, but nowadays physical is almost closed. And I have taken some data for last 3 or 4 weeks. We have taken data, and we are having more than 4,000 applications processed on e-district, and we got around 5,000 calls every day on call center. Out of that, because calls come, they don't mature. Sometimes people only ask for the information. कि भैया बताओ हमको बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट चाहिए क्या? Sorry, वो कैसे बनेगा? Right? But they are not having their paper ready, so they will again call. But out of that, 700 or 800 calls mature every day, where our agent go there and collect the paper and give the service. This is another channel, but we are doing it. Other than that, more than that, the most important part is time-bound delivery. The trust of the public on the government will only come when we deliver the service on time-bound manner. Delhi government enacted one act in 2011. That is ESLA, we call it. That is basically citizen rights to get the time-bound service delivery. This is the kind of right of the citizen. So we have around 300 services on this platform, and they are monitored. And I'm very happy to tell you that around 90% of the services are delivered on time. Right. So in that way, Delhi is providing services to the citizens. And if you have any question, I can answer on that.
Wonderful, sir. I think it's really very, very commendable what you've accomplished. I would request all panelists to switch on their cameras. If you can, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I want to pose the next question to Shri Venkateshwar Raju. I think Telangana again has undertaken some game-changing initiatives, especially when we talk about the Me Seva portal or the T-App folio or the T-Wallet or the real-time digital authentication of identity, which kind of uses cutting-edge technology like blockchain, AI, ML, etc. So Venkateshwar Raju, I just want to hear your thoughts on how you went about envisioning this thing and ensuring success by leveraging technology. Venkateshwar, sir, are you there? I think you're on mute.
Facing some technical issues.
Good morning, moderator.
Good morning, sir.
And good morning, all colleague panelists and viewers. Actually, I'll speak just for 1 or 2 minutes, but before that, let me, can you play one video I have shared? Actually, that explains, how the technologies are used for service delivery.
Sure. Pragya, would you be able to play that?
Yeah. After that, I'll speak for 2 minutes.
Sure, sir.
Year after year, Telangana has been adjudged as the leading e-governed state in India. As per e-TAL, Government of India, Telangana ranks #1 in per capita e-transactions. What has been setting Telangana apart from its peers is the vision of a truly digital Telangana and its execution under the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Shri K. Chandrasekhar Rao and Honorable IT Minister Shri K.T. Rama Rao. The Transport Department is implementing various innovative IT initiatives under the leadership of Honorable Transport Minister Shri Puvada Ajay Kumar. Striving towards this vision, Telangana has started exploring the use of emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, big data, blockchain, drones, etc. in the government. Authentication of citizens' identity is a key prerequisite of service delivery by government departments. For example, at airports, security verify the identity of a citizen before allowing them to enter the airport. At examinations, the identity of students is verified before they are allowed for the exam. These examples of identity authentication essentially include 3 checks which are performed manually. First, name on the flight ticket or hall ticket with the name on the ID card. Second, photograph on the ID card with the face of the citizen. Third, which is an indirect check of physically verifying the live person. Let's take the case of services provided by the Transport Department. Say to renew driving license or change address in driving license, citizens are required to visit the Transport Department office, stand in a queue and submit the application form. The official takes a photo of the citizen and issues certificate after successful verification and fee payment. Even for services which do not require driving test or inspection of vehicle by the department, citizens are made to visit the RTO office only for the purpose of identification and submission of documents. This could be avoided if there is a reliable way to check the citizen's identity and accept the required documents. ITE&C Department of Government of Telangana, after intense analysis, has come up with an innovative solution called Real-Time Digital Authentication of Identity (RTDAI) for an easy, convenient and correct authentication of citizens' identity through a smartphone without personal presence at the office. Built on RTDAI platform in association with the Transport Department, Government of Telangana, Friendly Electronic Service of Transport, FEST, allows the citizens of Telangana to avail numerous services of Transport Department through a smartphone from their home, anytime, anywhere, without visiting the Transport Department. FEST service is provided through T-App Folio, the M-Governance initiative of Government of Telangana. The citizen needs to submit details such as name, father name, address, DL or LL number, click a selfie and upload the required documents. FEST processes the provided information using a 3-factor authentication by leveraging state-of-the-art technologies. Artificial intelligence-based liveness check to ensure that selfie uploaded is from a live person at that instant and not of a photograph or a selfie taken earlier. This is the most important test since the identification is done remotely. Big data-based demographic check to match names with multiple name variations. Deep learning-based image comparison to match photographs. The technology can handle many variations in the photos. Post-successful 3-factor authentication, the citizen can pay the service fee through a smartphone and avail the service. 5 driving license and learning license services are being made available through FEST immediately. Another 6 DL and LL services will be offered in 15 days. More services are scheduled for release in due course. Except for services where a driving test or physical inspection of the vehicle is to be performed, the Transport Department aims to offer all services in a contactless and presence-less manner through FEST. Telangana Transport Department is the first in the country to build this kind of platform, leveraging emerging technologies to provide contactless and presence-less citizen services, making government service delivery efficient, convenient, and transparent. Marching ahead towards its vision of a digital Telangana, the Transport Department and IT/EC Department dedicates the friendly electronic service of transport, FEST, to the citizens of Telangana.
Yeah, I'll just briefly speak. In the state of Telangana, we have been continuously working in the last few years, primarily how to use the emerging technologies like AI, ML, big data, blockchain, drones, etc. in many areas of governance. I think many other states are also trying, but I think our special focus, perhaps slightly, compared to other states, is that where we are trying to use this for citizen service delivery. I mean, the example you have seen clearly demonstrates that how you can renew your driving license using a smartphone, of course, without compromising on any of the existing processes. So the whole approach has been, can we deliver more and more government services or in a manner what we call presence-less, contactless, anytime and anywhere, with primarily using mobile as the the main medium. So that's the focus is on M-governance. And for this, we have built a very unique platform called real-time digital authentication of identity. One of the examples is what you have seen. Actually, we have used the same technology in many other cases, like, we have done something called pensioners life certificate through selfie. Now, pensioners have to file annual life certificate. The present system is they have to visit some office or go to a bank, etc. So in Telangana, you can use the similar kind of your mobile app. You can just upload your selfie, and we have used in many other places. The whole emphasis is that the service delivery by the government should be to a maximum possible way. It should be through a mobile and in a presence-less and contactless manner. Yeah, thanks for the e-governance forum for this opportunity, and thank you.
Yeah. Wonderful. It's really mind-boggling to see, sir. I want to quickly move to Raj. Raj, you speak a lot about area-based development model. You're a big proponent of that, and specifically in the context of Chennai, which is in the process of transforming into a smart city, right? So just wanted to get your take on how you've leveraged technology in a way to make Chennai smarter.
See, I think thanks first of all, and as the earlier speaker said, you can imagine that Tamil Nadu has done a lot of innovation in terms of technology, whether it's ration shops, death certificate, birth certificate. These are all like become part of day-to-day thing, and citizens are aware of it. We have our city app, which kind of is very popular, surprisingly popular, where people can bring up issues or look for solutions. Of course, the command and control has come up, so we are trying to catch up with the rest of the system. Luckily for Chennai, we've had ERP system and all for the last 10 years. So quite a bit of these things are already in place. So that way, and then tax payment, all these things are much easier now, I'm sure, compared to a few years ago. More than what is happening, all the good things that's happening, I think I'll highlight what are the problems we're facing now, because that's something in the last few years I've been realizing. See, I think we are very good at, we meaning all these cities and states are good at systematically sitting back and then saying, okay, ration shop, what do we do? Birth certificate, what do we do? We are able to do that, right? Problem is, if you look at the way we procure software and so on, so if you, there are a lot of good softwares out there. There's no question about that. The problem is not the software. Problem is the number of people who have to sit behind the scene and do the coding. I'm putting it in very simplistic terms, because it's not the software that's important. Ultimately, whether you're the commissioner of the city or a citizen or engineer, etc., you want to see something on a screen saying, this is the data, do something, right? You want actionable intelligence, actionable item. And this is something I'm seeing during COVID and so on, where it's very difficult to figure out how do you change things fast. So even if you have a dashboard, see, for example, suddenly the vaccination has started, right? Vaccination for 8 million people is not something that's simple. So there are all kinds of permutation combination happening. Now, who will change the dashboard overnight so that the commissioner or the health department, etc., can react to it? This is where I think currently we are getting stuck, where the system exists, but who will do the changes? So I think we need to, we are actually in Chennai as in the command and control. We are working with Trinity, and we are trying to figure out how do we do customizable dashboard, where my criteria to them is to say, look, a person who has nothing to do with computer science, nothing to do with computers, it should be very intuitive, saying, I know how to use Excel spreadsheet, I should be able to do this. Because what's happening now is that even with all this technology, a lot of the critical things are basically Excel being sent back and forth between in WhatsApp. And now the biggest innovation my team did was putting Google spreadsheet together. It's pretty, and of course that's the power of Google spreadsheets. I don't want to take that away from them. The simple idea of putting a Google form and sending it to everybody saying that, hey, you want to get vaccinated, please fill out this form, and automatically backend the data comes and we will have people calling and processing. But my point is that there is no way for us to take a Google spreadsheet, what a Google spreadsheet does, and convert it into a sophisticated dashboard, because the data is coming from various places. It could be from command and control center. It could be another center somewhere. There's a burial ground data. There is a COVID data, the positive data, oxygen data. Now, yes, it's all in some Excel spreadsheet somewhere. How do you quickly react is the issue. And if you were to expand, let's assume there's no COVID pandemic, the same problem will exist in property tax, because property tax is not simply property tax. Everybody will have different ideas of what needs to be in that dashboard. So those kinds of intuitive technology should be the next revolution, in my opinion, not simply software, because software, no question about it. There are n number of good software, including yours, I'm sure, which are so powerful that you can do pretty much anything. But if you give enough time and 10 people sitting somewhere, and then somebody is sick, somebody resigned, somebody this, somebody that, and there's a lot of chaos, not on the software side, it's on the programming and integration side. And we have a lot, as you can imagine, a lot of legacy systems. You can't change the entire legacy system just because you got a new software purchased. So I think those problems need to be handled, and we are I'll just quickly, to a few minutes, I'll tell you that customizable dashboard by a person who has nothing to do with computer science is one thing we are trying to attempt. Connecting to databases, which are without any knowledge of what a database is, etc. And now there is also talk of machine language. Of course, it's not for everybody, but let's assume that there are a few data scientists sitting in Bangalore or Gujarat or California who wants to help Chennai. They should be able to see the data. They should be able to take those machine language tools, connect it together, and tell us insights, which I or somebody is not expert on machine language, we don't know what to do with it. But somebody out there who wants to volunteer or help, etc., should be able to do it. Unless we get to that, I don't think our cities are capable of sitting back and doing grand plans and then, silos and verticals and combining and integration. It's getting very nightmarish. And then my pet peeve today is that everybody's starting an app. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry has an app. How many apps am I supposed to download in my phone? And these apps obviously won't talk to each other. So simply creating apps and saying I also have an app is not a solution. There has to be a city app which is able to absorb a lot of the other app and other things seamlessly for citizens, so that we don't keep telling them to download apps and send Google links back and forth and so on. We have a long way to go, but thank God we have come a long way. That is the good way of looking at it.
Absolutely, Rajan. I think we completely agree and understand that the complexity is just mind-boggling. Right? Thank you so much, Raji, for sharing this. I want to move over to Shri Raju. I think specifically in the context of Andhra Pradesh Police Department, right? I think there is a lot of game-changing innovation that is happening, right? Be it the real-time visitor monitoring system, which leverages AI and blockchain to kind of in real time validate visitor name matches against I think history sheeters. I think that's something very innovative and game changing. So Pala sir, we would want to understand from you, what's the potential of technology in your specific department? How are you thinking through the opportunities and the huge potential that it opens up?
Yeah, basically these are very tough times. You all know emergency situations are there. So our response basically to response giving to citizens, that time should be very short. We should react quickly to their needs. Either it is medical or either it is psychological, either it is physical. So that's where technology comes in. We don't want people to come to police stations in these days because we ourselves, 2,000 policemen got affected with COVID and we had losses too. And so we don't want to people moving towards police stations and they are risking their life. At the same time, policemen are also risking their lives. So we have come up with 2-3 good applications. We already had Spandana Online, and then we have launched AP Police Seva Service application, mobile application, wherein you can, sitting at your home, you can avail all our services. Then regarding emergency services, all our vehicles are Jayesh GPS fitted. They have tabs too. So our response time is 5 minutes in towns and 15 to 20 minutes in rural areas. We only reach out to citizens. Then there is urgency for any women-related issues. We have Disha application, which is a SOS application. That response time is further less. And we have one-stop centers. And also for children, in the situation, COVID situations, we are also doing Operation Muskan, where we are getting all the children to one place in the district headquarters, which is run by Women and Child Welfare Committee. We are testing them and we are keeping them safe. And at the same time, we are imposing lockdown in our state, and there is necessary arrangements has to be made to give e-pass. We are also giving e-pass on social media itself, and we are running a mobile application also. So where there is medical emergency or death in family, we are giving permission to essential services. Within one and a half hour, we are issuing e-passes to them wherever which is necessary. At the same time, to enforce lockdown, we are using a lot of technologies in place, and one is that the drone announcements we are doing in areas, and we are passing on the information to the citizens, flying drones in the populated areas. At the same time, all our checkposts, interstate and inter-district checkposts, are connected, radio connected. We are running internet, radio and internet in the checkpost, so that the communication is very fast. And there is a lot of need for oxygen green channel. So all our oxygen carrying vehicles are fitted with GPS, and they are seen on maps in control rooms, and we are making sure that oxygen supply is made available in those needy places. Likewise, to do all these things, we have to internally also we have to be efficient, so that a lot of technology is also being used internally to basically enhance our capacities, because pregnant women are exempted, 50 plus constables are exempted from doing duty. Our numbers have become less. So technology has become a force multiplier. Thank you.
Thank you, Pala sir. Thank you for sharing your views. I want to move to Ajay. Ajay, as someone who's an industry veteran, who's witnessed this journey from up close, right? And you work with many governments on these key initiatives. Give us a sense from your vantage point as to how technology has evolved to kind of help expedite some of these initiatives, scale faster, and deliver success.
Sure. Thanks, Karthik, and good morning, everyone. I want to first thank Governance Now and Freshworks for conducting this session during these unprecedented times. It's not easy. And also would love to first thank all the COVID warriors who have been relentlessly fighting day in, day out, to save every single life that they can. And also our all government dignitaries, government people who are equally putting every effort to ensure that all essential services are taken care of. We heard from all the fellow panelists across various states, be it Tamil Nadu or Telangana or Delhi, how innovative ways are, thought through to ensure that there is no dearth of ensuring the services are, restricted. And more so in times like these when we can't even, think of physically being at various locations. So really take time off to say thank you to all of you. These days, it's possible to maybe stay without food, but it's not possible to stay without internet. So ensuring that all of us get uninterrupted services, power, which is so important and crucial in these times. There are so many people that all of us should really thank to. And I think the times have really changed. And this last 1 year has been literally testing times, for all of us. But I personally feel that if there is any time in the whole mankind that we have seen technology playing a massive role, I think it's now. So from that standpoint, I think, given the fact that there have been problems that have surfaced, which we did not knew something like this would ever come. And that kind of caught all of us off guard. It put us in a very, very challenging situation, both from the industry standpoint and citizens as whole. But I would like to also, kind of give reference to what Shri Amitabh Kant said in the morning, and Jayesh also mentioned that, these times have also seen people of all walks coming together, public-private partnerships, creating whole lot of ecosystem to be able to build newer, innovative ways of managing some of the challenges. So the reference that comes to my mind of how the change has evolved, in the normal pre-pandemic areas, our governance models would evolve, and we all heard of various initiatives that states had started, whether it is from various departments cutting across transportation to healthcare to education to so on and so forth. I think in the last 1 year, what has taken the front seat is the speed, the pace at which we have moved, because we are fighting a problem which we had no solution for that before. And at the same time, apart from the speed and velocity that was very critical, I think it also was important to kind of innovate and explore multiple approaches. So you had to experiment really fast, you had to fail fast, and you had to, succeed very, very fast and implement those solutions at the lightning speed, so that you are able to cover and save lives and ensure things are taken care of. During these times last year, when the first time COVID hit us, and we all seen that hospitals were kind of the ones which took the first hit, because the first priority was to look at the patients who came with COVID symptoms. And what that did was it also put a lot of pressure on people who were sick, but they were non-COVID, right? All of us would relate to it because we had our near and dear ones and few of the people in our family itself, who went through that typical scenario of not being able to have access all of a sudden to hospitals. And there was an urgent need to both contain the spread of virus on one hand, and on the other hand, it also was required to be able to provide a help to people on the physical front or maybe even on psychological front. So it paved a way which was very unique. We had never witnessed such a thing before. And obviously, given the situation, we had to focus primarily on the COVID patients to begin with. But looking at the way the things, kind of were working out, there was a group of volunteers who came from wide variety of sectors, from medical, from technical, from marketing and operations, and created something called as a Step One as an organization, which was a not-for-profit platform. And this got curated in June last year. Now, the whole idea was to augment the overall stressed government support system, which was already kind of battling its own fight. So the idea was to provide a way to augment, that and facilitate people with whole like of healthcare facilities. And there were three approaches and pillars that were looked at. The first pillar was technology part, because technology had to play a very important role. The second was people, because given the demographics of our country, and we had to touch upon millions of people, so it had to be a culmination of a lot of people from various walks of life who had to be come together. And the third was processes. And like I said, there were multiple iterations that happened in terms of what is the best way, best model that can be leveraged, and that's where Step One kind of got incubated. At this point of time, it has already reached about 40 lakh people across the country, and performed over 9 lakh plus teleconsultations, which also in a way prevented about 5 lakh people getting infected, because you were kind of treating them, hearing them, looking at them, giving them medications while they're sitting at home, and not getting them exposed to the infection further. So with close to about 7,000 doctors and about 10,000 volunteers, it handled almost 25,000 calls every single day, and across 22 states across the country. Now imagine, all of a sudden, we have never had this kind of a platform before the pandemic hit us. And at this point of time, you had to, kind of create this platform, get ideas, keep on improvising every point of time. So your perspective and idea of providing citizen services completely changed, right? And that's where I think technology played a very, very big role. And there were multiple amalgam of various domains that were stitched together to create a single platform view, so that it becomes easier for a citizen of different age, of different sitting in a different geography, to be able to get connected to a doctor, share the problem, get a prescription to it, get a medication to it, and move on without having a need to be able to go to a hospital physically. And I'm glad to say that AWS provided a underlying platform to be able to get all of this together, because imagine this platform will get hits of millions of users every day, accessing data points, accessing geographies, demographics where the connectivity might not be that good, right? So all of that had to kind of come together, and at least I'm glad that with such innovations we've been able to restore medical help to a lot of citizens across the country. And this is one example. Like that, there are numerous examples that we have across the board, but I thought for this morning's conversation, this might be pretty relevant. Back to you, Karthik. Thank you.
Absolutely, Ajay. And I think Step One, I think the initiative is just incredible, and just the opportunity to be a part of this is, I think, which is really very heartwarming and overwhelming for all of us, right? Hi, Sundarji, welcome. We're glad you could join us. Right. So Sundarji, I think Andhra Pradesh has been one of the early and most aggressive adopters of technology, right? Be it the real-time governance framework that encompasses grievance addressal, or be it the People's Hub, which is e-Pragati. I think a lot of new age technologies adopted, and of course, there's a lot of data mining and analytics that goes into it, right? So take us through your experience in experimenting and kind of adopting some of these technologies. And specifically in the context of the COVID scenario that we face.
Dear Karthik and Governance Now, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to articulate on behalf of the government of Andhra Pradesh as Special Secretary and representing the IT, Electronics and Telecommunication Department as a whole. See, we have a whole ecosystem that amalgamates electronics, telecommunication, and that means the whole infrastructure is with the IT department. And as you pointed out in your introduction, Andhra Pradesh has been somewhat of a pioneer. For example, in e-Pragati, we thought it will make a huge difference if we were able to knit in enterprise architecture into governance. And we were one of the first adopters of one of the most powerful, but from the citizens e-services point of view, not so relevant proprietary software for many of our e-services. In fact, yes, we were pioneers, but then we also learned a lot of lessons that things which could be learned, things which could be done from open source software, but with some human effort, we learned it in the course of our digital journey. And it does not mean that enterprise architecture is not relevant to public e-services. It is only that it is much more expensive compared to something like microservices. In relation to enterprise, microservices architecture made much more sense because the technology we require for e-services is not complex, but voluminous and redundancy are the key requirements for any kind of e-services. So these were some of the early lessons we learned. We also went in for huge adoption of AI, ML, and IoT in our real-time governance. That was a couple of years back. Much of this, including the drone technology, was very much helpful in putting in a command and control center for the real-time governance, not only at the central capital of Vijayawada, but also in the district centers. But then it too had its limitations, the real-time governance technology, because the cost and maintenance was quite resource intensive. And so we had to somewhat tweak it somewhere in the middle. And now, after learning these lessons of using technologies, learning from mistakes, we have now come to a conclusion that it is not just technology alone, but also the human touch, because that is where we need to deliver. As I sit and converse with you, I should acknowledge that only 55% of the citizens the state comprises of, we are able to deliver all these benefits only to 55% of our population. And the balance, 44 to 45% of the population do not even have access to a feature phone, let alone a smartphone. We don't even have access to feature phones. And we have also not been able, from the technology infrastructure point of view, we have not even been able to provide them basic internet services. So that is a reality of Andhra Pradesh, and I am quite sure that it must be the same in several of our cohort states in our country. And to take digital services to the last mile, the prime requirement is a reasonably good internet. And here, I would like to say that we have been working from the ground up, copying from, I should not say copying, emulating some of the better states. We have also taken a step forward in declaring, now with reference to COVID normal, what have we done? We have made IT services an essential service so that the workers do not face any problems in delivering services to their clients, whether domestic or abroad. We have also, in the process of making all the telecom workers frontline staff, okay, because they do not have problems in taking ahead and erecting several infrastructure related requirements on the ground. These are not much spoken of in platforms like this, but they are very essential if you have to take internet to the deeper parts. It's nice to talk about having very good complex and good IT solutions to the urban population, but we are also aware that, as I am again repeating, that 44% of our population are not digitally. Now, what have we done for them? We have adopted both a hard approach as well as a soft approach. We have now started the Grama and the Ward Sachivalayam, which essentially tries to deliver e-services to these non-included population. Now, we had a commercial e-services model, very much like the rest of our other states. In fact, Karnataka was a pioneer and we refined and we did a lot of work on that. But then that only ended up being a good commercial model, catering only to 55% of our population who have access and are digitally savvy. Now for the balance 45%, what we have done is to install a system of Grama and Ward volunteers, as I mentioned. These Grama and Ward volunteers each are tagged to 50 or 100 designated households within the Grama Panchayat. And in every Gram Panchayat, we have a e-services center which are manned by the officers of those departments who have relevance to the citizen at that level. For example, land records, survey, health, sewage, environment, okay, to name a few. So these officers sit from morning 9 to evening 5. That is one constraint, because the commercial model works 24/7 and even on holidays. But the government system works 24/7, and we are aware of this constraint. But to somewhat alleviate this, we have also instituted the Grama volunteers, who, as I said, are tagged to 50 to 100 households, and they go with a basic tag to deliver 400 and odd surveys online to those digitally non-included population. It could be as simple as paying an electricity service online, or requesting for rice from the local PDS shop, or requesting for a e-certificate from the local Tashildar. These services have been automated, and we are in the process of adopting the Kubernetes architecture, which is well known for delivering citizen services with redundancy. Why redundancy? Your system fails, internet doesn't work, then you have something as a backup, so that the seamless delivery of services are getting delivered at the ground level. Now we have what are we having? Instead of 6,000 commercially viable e-services dotted across the two-tier towns, the one-tier towns in the state, we now have gone overboard by having 15,600 Grama Sachivalayams in almost every Grama Panchayat of our state. And these people and these ward volunteers, they keep running around, collecting the requirements from the people and delivering these services to the citizens right at the doorstep. So the citizen now has the commercial e-services, the Gram, he can come to, or she can come to the Gram Sachivalayam office and deliver a service, or if he is lazy, they simply have to have a WhatsApp or a small call to the ward volunteer who comes once a day or once in 2 days to their home to get the services delivered. Now, this is how we have been trying to speeden up the service delivery to the citizens, and also put in the required human touch, because all said and done, automation in this vast country and having a bureaucratic system that is constrained due to various models, you do require a set of people to deliver these services and online to the citizens. Now, this in a nutshell is how we have been having a vision to deliver the services. Now, what about capacity building? That will be the next question for most of our audience. And here we have now thought of the digital library that also marries with the concept of work from home. Every 1 in 4 in the gig economy is an engineer from Andhra Pradesh. That's an empirical fact. And with COVID, many of them are now back to their towns and villages in the state. So what have we done to that? The digital libraries, which we are proposing, and which a proof of concept was opened last week, it has 4 to 5 desktops. The village and the ward volunteer already have desktops. And here we are giving them a high-powered coding environment. It will have Jupyter, it will have Anaconda, it will have R Studio. All of them are open source. Where the difference we are making is through our government system, we are giving them access to Kaggle, GitHub, and the NBWeaver platform, so that the programming and the coding environment is there for any of the interested stakeholders. We also give them good access to state-of-the-art digital access to magazines like Wire, PC World, PC Industry, and Tele.net, so that the worker is not stranded, at least in terms of knowledge. Now, how does this, and we also have hard copy books for all the engineering syllabus of the 4 leading universities in the state stocked in the digital library. We are giving them both in the book format as well as in the digital format, along with an IPTV, so that the stakeholder or the citizen has both ways of accessing knowledge. Instead of somebody coming and tutoring in, we have all the education, school education model. Now we are having a self-learning model. Through these 4 terminals, he can have access to all the courses in Udacity, Coursera, whatever, all the open online courses that are on offer. And in addition, the government steps in by giving them terminals, which is required, internet that is required for the citizen to self-learn. Now, this in a nutshell is a vision which we have started within our government, and we have gone where are we standing? By the first proof of concept was opened in Vijayawada last week. By August 15th, we hope to achieve around 2,600 digital libraries like this, because the constraint is you need space, you need air conditioners, you need backups, and you need a certain amount of terminals and subscriptions for making this digital libraries go live. Thank you, Governance now, for giving me this opportunity to articulate our vision. And over to you, Karthik.
Thank you, Sundar. Just wonderfully articulated. I mean, I could go on and on, but I think we've hit the end of time. Thank you so much, esteemed panelists, for being a part of this panel and sharing your views. It is super informative and very, very insightful. We really appreciate taking the time out in this context and this pandemic to talk to us and share your views. Over to the Governance Now team. Pragya, you want to take it from here?
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am really grateful to all the panelists and for this lovely insight. Before we close our panel, we have few questions from audience, if we can take them. So one gentleman is asking, Mr. Arun Kumar, how about digital potential made available through rural citizens, basically, how we can be responsive to citizens in rural India? If anyone would want to take this question. And then we have a question for Venkateshwar, sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah, if we can use blockchain in the current situation.
Yeah, of course, Telangana has been last, I think, 2.5 years. It has been trying a number of initiatives in the area of blockchain, in various verticals or the departments. And I think they are also working on something supply chain side also.
Sorry. Yes, sir, please go ahead.
Yeah. Some work is going on. I think pilots are going on in multiple areas, including, I think, the supply chain side.
Sure, sir. And sir, how other states can adopt the same thing, if you have any recommendations? So, sir, there is a question for Sundar, sir. Happy to hear Dr. Sundar from Andhra Pradesh efforts in reaching out to the people at the grassroots who don't have smartphones. But I would like to suggest accountability from district chief going below to the last mile, who is to deliver the beneficiaries. So do you have any comment on that?
Yes, we have the district joint collectors who are who are given the task of supervising the ward Sachivalayam. As one can realize, the joint collector is the number 2 officer from the revenue department in the district is, or she is next to the collector, and accountability for the, we have developed a host of metrics too for this particular aspect, and we are refining it. And as I said, with the JC at the hem, looking after the delivery of services at the ward and the village secretariat, the accountability part has been at least institutionally taken care of. It only remains to be seen how passionately the officers down below take it up. Thank you. Thank you for.
Thank you so much, sir. And this was our panel on faster e-service for modern citizen. And I thank Shri Karthik Rajaram, Senior Director and Country Head India Business Freshworks, to efficiently moderate the session. Thank you, Dr. B. Sundar, Special Secretary IT, Government of Andhra Pradesh. I extend my thanks to GT Venkateshwar Rao, MD, Telangana Technology Services, Shri Raj Cherubal, CEO, Chennai Smart City, Shri G. Raju, Deputy Inspector General of Police, Computer Services and Standardization, Andhra Pradesh. I thank Shri Santulan Chaubey, Joint Director at IT, Department of IT, Government of Delhi. I thank Shri Ajay Kaul, Head States and Local Government India, Amazon Internet Services Private Limited. Thank you, everyone. And now I request Shri Kailash Adhikari to give his thank you address.
Thank you so much, Pragya. I thank all our panelists, esteemed panelists, for joining us today. GT Venkateshwar Rao ji, Santulan Chaubey ji, B. Sundar ji, Ajay Kaul ji, G. Raju ji, Shri Raj Cherubal ji, as well as our moderator, Karthik, also for joining us. We had a very nice discussion on the topic which was presented. And thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Everybody.
And before we log out, we have another poll, and this is our last poll for the audience. So we would be happy to have your feedback. So thank you, everyone, for sharing your insights. And thank you once again. I extend my thanks to all the esteemed speakers and our audience. Thank you.
Thank you.